6:36, 17 newsmakers now, and Congressman Kevin McCarthy is among the short list of names being thrown around for vice presidential candidates in 2012, we should note. Of course, not too far away. The Congressman joins us live in studio this morning to talk about that and other issues. Congressman, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Let's start first with Libya. We just saw the video coming out of there this morning. Also, we should note a fighter plane went down, a U.S. fighter plane in Libya this morning. The crew is believed to be safe. How would you rate the president's handling of the situation so far, and why?
Well, I've got a little problem with what the president's doing here. I think from the delaying of action made Gaddafi stronger, and I rather see clearer lines of what is our mission. It's best to determine if there's anything we've learned from our conflict in the Middle East. Let's determine what victory is so we all know when we reach it and when we can depart.
And Congressman, how far is the America's role, do you think, in your estimation, in Libya?
Not sure. I don't think the president's been clear on this. Are we just doing a no-fly zone? Are we getting in the middle of a civil war? He says he'll send no ground troops in, but I have a concern. What is the mission and what is the goal? And if we achieve it, then let's make sure we achieved it and can depart.
If you were the president right now, what would your druthers be if you had them? Would you just enforce the no-fly zone? Would you go into the country on ground?
Well, first, I probably wouldn't have waited that week. That week made actually Gaddafi stronger. I think there was an opportunity that we could have been united at the very beginning, and Gaddafi probably would have left. After he got the strength of going back and hitting his own civilians, he was already all invested in that this is going to become a civil war. So timing of when you show leadership makes a great deal of difference of how much leadership and how much force you have to do. So first, I would have made a decision much sooner than the president would have made.
Okay. Let's also talk about what's going on here on the home front. Consensus seems to be in a lot of the blogs and online and also in the talks on the cable networks that you and the other House leadership are having a problem right now trying to wrangle in Republicans on a budget, with several members saying, specifically the Tea Party members, so to speak, saying that you've kind of come back on promises to cut parts of the budget that you had ran on, promises you had made during your campaign. Is that true?
No, that's not true. The budget's not even set forward yet. That won't come out till next month. And when you see our budget, you'll see trillions of dollars being cut. What people are talking about is a continuing resolution. And the only reason we're talking about this is when the Democrats were in the majority, they never passed the budget. So we don't have a budget going forward. Government was only funded till March 4th. And the budget year for government September 30th. Republicans proposed to cut $100 billion off the president's budget request. We said we'd do it within a year. We have offered to do that. We have passed the bill to do that. The Democrats in the Senate have not passed the bill. So each week we go and cut, which is equal to that amount going forward. So we've actually been rather successful. The frustration you see in Washington with Republicans and all of us is the lack of action from the Democrats, the lack of action from the president. He sent the vice president down to negotiate with us. He negotiated one day, then he left the country, with the government only being funded 2 weeks.
Okay, and speaking of the president, let's talk about the presidential race in 2012. Your name's been thrown in there by Roll Call magazine. It's a news magazine up in the Washington area. I want to go, if we can, to a graphic. They say the pros here are that you could basically turn California into a red state. They say that's kind of a con, because the chance of that happening, not so likely in this case. The other con, you'd have to give up your job. So what say you? Republican vice presidential race in 2012?
No, I think that's a reporter with too much time on his hands, just trying to fill out a time.
How about president? I know, people kind of throw your name around when you're talking about leadership. You are the third-ranking member of the Republican side. What about presidential aspirations at some point?
No, if any teacher that grew up with me, you know I'm at a higher position you ever thought I could get. So I'm very content where I'm at.
For right now. But what about down the future? I mean, what is next for you? What would you like to do next now that you've attained this level?
I would like to solve the problems that I said I'd set out to do running for Congress. I want to see a budget get balanced. I want to see prosperity in America, and I want to see jobs grow. I think that will be a big accomplishment, and that's what I got my focus on, and that's what I'll do.
All right, Congressman Kevin McCarthy saying that with a smile this morning. It is 6:40. Thanks so much for joining.